Though crossover SUVs are dominating the automotive market, compact sedans still account for a significant chunk of the pie. One such compact car that is always at the top of any shopping list is the 2024 Honda Civic. The 2024 Civic is available with two engines. The lower trims receive a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder with just under 158 horsepower, while this top touring trim, along with the EX trim in the US, receives a turbocharged 1.5-liter engine. It produces 180 horsepower and 177 pound-feet of torque. The peak power figure is pretty high up in the RPM range at 6,000 RPMs, but in city driving situations, it's the torque that matters more. That peak torque figure is reached at a very low 1700 RPMs and is sustained to 4500 RPMs. This means that the engine doesn't need to rev all that much when taking off from a stop, which in turn is good for fuel economy. Speaking of which, the 2024 Honda Civic Touring is rated for 7.6 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. Best of all, this turbo engine does not require premium fuel. During my time with the car, I averaged 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers. Helping to achieve the fuel economy numbers is a CVT automatic. Yes, I know, CVTs are not the most enjoyable transmissions out there. But this is not the sporty version of the Civic, so having it is perfectly acceptable for a city or highway car. In normal driving situations, it doesn't try to replicate virtual gears, and instead it tries to keep the engine's RPMs as low as possible. It's only when you put your foot down all the way does it try to emulate an automatic transmission with gears. The handling dynamics of this latest generation Civic have been slightly tweaked compared to the last one. It feels a bit more mature. The steering response is sharp and fairly communicative for this type of car. It's also nicely weighted so that it doesn't feel too light or overly assisted. The car feels much more like a slightly smaller version of the Accord. However, if you still want the best handling compact car, the Mazda 3 is still the king. The suspension of this new generation Honda Civic is more compliant over bumps than the previous generation. Shunts from the potholes don't get translated through the suspension and into the cabin quite as much. The seats have also been revised from the previous generation Civic. They're a bit softer and provide a bit more support for your entire body, thus reducing stress over longer drives. However, there is no lumbar adjustment. Sound insulation has also been drastically improved in this new Civic over the old one. Engine, wind, and tire noises barely intrude into the cabin when driving around city streets. Road noise is still a bit more prevalent on highways, however. As for the interior space, this is by far the biggest version of the Civic yet. This is most evident in the back seats. Sitting behind my tall 6'4" driving position, there still is a lot of space. There's also a pretty sizable indentation in the roof for a generous amount of headroom. In the trunk, the 2024 Honda Civic Touring has 408 liters of cargo volume, with more available by folding down the rear seats. Under the floor, you'll find the spare wheel, along with tools to change the wheel. The 2024 Honda Civic is good to drive, spacious, and easy to live with. However, there is a price to pay for all that. It starts at $26,790 Canadian for the LXB trim, and this top touring trim will cost you $34,500 Canadian. All compact cars in this segment have starting prices which are lower than that of this Honda Civic. But for all that money, you are getting a very well-equipped vehicle. It has leather, heated seats all round, heated steering wheel, sunroof, wireless phone charging pad along with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, a full digital driver display, a 9-inch touchscreen, adaptive cruise control, blind spot sensors, lane centering system, and automatic emergency braking, among many other features. Of course, these features differ between the Canadian and American markets. The interior fit and finish of the Honda Civic is miles ahead than the previous generation. It retains a lot of physical buttons and they have a premium feel to them. You can easily take them out of the Civic and put them in a more premium vehicle. The metal mesh grille across the dashboard covers the air vents, but the air vent prongs feel a little bit on the flimsy side. But otherwise, all of the materials in this new Honda Civic are top notch. On the outside, the exterior doesn't look as exciting as the previous generation. I'd even go so far as to say that it's a little bit bland. This new Civic has a lot of smooth curves, but it just looks like it'll blend in with other cars in a busy parking lot. I understand that this new Civic is a global car, so every country gets the same looking vehicle, and thus it has to appeal to a much broader audience. But the design is a bit too conservative in my opinion. In the end, as an overall package, the 2024 Honda Civic is just about perfect. It offers more space, a better interior, the latest gadgets, and it's more enjoyable to drive than the previous generation. Its major downfall is that it's significantly more expensive than the closest competitors. If you'd like to know more about this 2024 Honda Civic Touring, I have a written review with a few more details about it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner in the top right corner. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.